everyone. Welcome to No Playbook Needed. I'm your host, Sierra, and we're just gonna kind of run with this, okay? I've never done something like this, so please bear with me. Here on No Playbook Needed, this is a podcast where we're gonna talk about sports, life, literally everything in between, with no scripts, no filters, definitely no filters, and definitely no playbook. So as I said, I'm Sierra, your host. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm nervous, but I'm so excited. But I think if there's one thing I've learned in life, you gotta do more things that scare you. So here we are. But anyways, so the reason I'm starting this podcast is because I'm sure, like a lot of people out there, they've just gotten to a point in their life where they realized something really important, actually. Nobody knows literally what they're doing, ever, at anything. And I would say that's true across the board, whether it's in sports, it's in your career, it's in your relationships, your marriage, whatever, which literally means we have no idea what we're doing in life. And that's okay. We're literally, we're just making decisions on the fly. We're always adapting and adjusting. We're learning and definitely moving forward. And that's exactly why I'm here, to really show that life has no playbook and you don't need one. Obviously, I'm a big sports girly, and I will get into my first actual episode about like that and my background and kind of how sports integrated into my life, because it is very much intertwined in my life. Here we're also going to talk about life, just kind of life in general, just the pressures, confidence, or maybe lack thereof, setbacks, how you grew from those setbacks, mental toughness, and really everything mental health related. Just hopefully a lot of things that people might not necessarily talk about or say out loud, I guess. There's definitely no pretending we've got it figured out. So here we're just gonna have, honest takes and unfiltered conversations, because why not? I decided to call this podcast No Playbook Needed because the biggest moments in sports and in life do not come from following a script. You have to adapt. You have to trust yourself and your teammates in some cases, and your coaches, your mentors, things like that. You have to take risks, which is something I personally have gotten a lot better at. It took me a very long time to get there, but I definitely think I'm doing better. We all know that the play breaks down, the plan fails, and it's definitely in those moments that you kind of really figure out who you are. And I know that definitely has happened to me a time or two. I'm going to give you a good example. For me, just a couple of years ago, this mindset and this whole notion of no playbook needed kind of came into focus. I'm going to say like 3.5, almost 4 years ago. I took a leap in my career and got out of the industry that I was in and switched to a different industry. And I hated it, point blank. I left the world that I was comfortable with and ended up feeling completely lost, literally like the year before I turned 30. And, I was waking up every day and I was really sad and really miserable, and I thought I made this horrible mistake, and it was definitely a lesson learned. But that being said, maybe it was the game that didn't go as planned, a career move that felt risky. We can just laugh at that together now. And just a moment where maybe the right path you thought you were on stopped making sense and stopped feeling right. It was really kind of when all that came together where I realized that I don't need a playbook. And really, honestly, nobody does. I learned to adapt. And one of I think the biggest things for me was that I had to confront myself and I had to really be honest with myself. So, with all that being said, I'm kind of thinking chances are that if you're here listening, you've probably had a moment or a couple moments just like that as well. So, moving forward, we're going to do some solo episodes. Like I said, my next actual first episode after this intro episode is going to be all about kind of a little bit about my background, how I got here, like I mentioned before, how intertwined the sports world is, and all of the things that go along with that. Best conversations for sure. I have some unexpected guests up my sleeve, hopefully. You know, one of my goals is to make sure that people don't feel like they are alone. I felt like that one too many times in my life, and I'm just hoping that y'all can just turn this on and yap with me and laugh with me. I'm really hoping that we have a ton of laughs and things, just goodness and good vibes that come out of this. So, if there's one thing I'm going to hopefully prove is that you don't need all of the answers to start. You just need to start. Literally, like me here right now. I'm finally starting. But yeah, so please join me on this wonderful journey, my podcast journey, and try not to hate me too much because I hate my voice on video as well. Or like recording. Anyways, all right. I love you guys. This is no playbook needed. Sports, life, and most certainly unfiltered.